Hi everybody, we are here on a beautiful morning and I thought I'd just take a couple minutes to talk about Pirkei Avot. Chapter 2, Mishnah 21. Rabbi Tarfon used to say, "It is not your duty to complete the task, but you are not free to desist from it. Lo elacha hamlacha ligmor, velo ata ben chorin lehi batel mimena." And do not worry, I will not sing it to you. You're safe. So it's not your job to finish the job. It's not your duty to finish the job, but you can't just not do it. So I look at this as Judaism. What it teaches us about Judaism. Judaism is not an all or nothing proposition. You don't have to tackle it all at once. The tagline for a Jewish Minute is being Jewish is a journey, not a destination. And I got that tagline from a friend of mine, Randy, who was nice enough to let me borrow it, because it's absolute truth. We're all on a Jewish journey. We're Jewish, but what does that mean to us? I used to teach younger kids, and I would do like a little poll. We were at a day school, and I'd say to them, okay, so your Jewish education, might end at 8th grade. It's your bar mitzvah. Bar mitzvah is maybe 12, 13 years old. Your Jewish education ends. You may or may not go to some sort of Hebrew high school or a Sunday school. You might not. It's not, people put more emphasis on their secular education, and Jews are very well known for being educated people. I have a couple masters, in Pokemon, collect them all. You do that with degrees. Long story. Don't worry about it. But the point is, we spend a lot of time being educated in secular subjects, which is fantastic. But what about our Jewish education? So comparatively, some of us, may be done with our Jewish education at 12, 13 years old and never look at it again. But what that leaves us with is a child's perspective on something so important that unfortunately many of us don't revisit. So we have this child's perspective. Who is God? What's our place in the world? Such important, deep questions that we have a kid's eye on, perspective on. And that's too bad, because then we go on to learn about the whole world, rest of the world around us in our secular education with adult eyes, an adult perspective, but our Judaism, the center of our lives, is with a kid's perspective, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, because kids have a curiosity that adults lose, which is too bad. We should work on that. But they have a curiosity we don't have. So what's cool, I used to teach Hebrew school, and I used to thank the kids who showed up for the afternoon Hebrew school after they'd finished their whole day at regular school to be there with me from 4 to 6 in the nighttime and go home and crash. I can't imagine how they pulled it off. So I used to thank them very, very much. And I thank everyone out there who's watching this right now for being part of a Jewish Minute also. Because if we're all adults here, when we were kids, it was our parents' responsibility to get us to where we needed to go, whether it was day school, Hebrew school, Sunday school, afternoon school, whatever. It was on our parents to get us there. And we didn't take responsibility for it for ourselves, which is normal for kids, because kids don't take responsibility for anything. But as adults, we have to start taking responsibility for our own education, our own Jewish education. So what I'm trying to say here is Judaism is not an all or nothing proposition. You don't have to tackle it all at once. God doesn't expect us to. There is a job of learning Torah, and there's a job of being Jewish. And what does that all mean to us? We don't have to tackle all those serious questions all at once, but let's take a little chunk at a time. Old joke. How do you eat an elephant? one bite at a time. When the job is big, break it into smaller tasks. But what does our Judaism want? What do we want our Judaism to look like? What is our journey? It's like, let's say you have a living room or dining room that it needs to be redone. Something isn't there, it doesn't flow, whatever it is. And you make a plan. What do you want it to look like? Because you could throw all sorts of stuff into it. You get a couch, a chair, a painting, you throw it all in, and you can make your room that way. But it doesn't look like anything. So you make a plan. You say, okay, what's the color picture here? What kind of painting do I want? Do I want to color the wall? Do I want to paint the walls a certain color? Do I want a certain ambiance that goes with that color? You build the room. So we have to look at our Judaism the same way. How do we want to build our Judaism? What do we want it to look like? How do we want to incorporate it in our real lives? Getting up in the morning, going. Do we want Shabbat more involved? Do you want more Shabbat in your day, in your week? Kosher has spiritual aspects to it that, we overlook. It's not just for health reasons we don't do X, Y, Z. It's spiritual. People say, oh, kosher is outdated because, we're healthier now. We know all about these diseases and healthier foods and blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's an aspect to that. But there's also something, Judaism is something fascinating because it combines the physical world with the spiritual world. And it's hard to understand because we don't see a spiritual world around us. It's hard to see that aspect. But part of being a Jewish person is bringing out that spirituality in the physicality, right? So it's cool like that. We combine those two. There are some religions that completely disconnect those two things, but that's not what we believe God wants. God wants us to bring the physical world and make it a spiritual one. So kosher has a big piece to that because it goes into your body and impacts your own spirituality. So what I'm trying to say here is like this. The same way you build a room or decorate a room or rearrange a room to get to the picture you have in your head is the same thing with Judaism. What part of it, how do you want to build Judaism into your life? How do you want Judaism to inform the way you look around the world and see things? It's an interesting thought. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful Shabbat. And I have to get back to my cooking now. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.